back again, guys, with another UFC fight picks video on the UFC 212 card, ALDO versus HOLLOWAY. And this video is going to be all about the FS1 Prelims, where we got 4 fights. So let's go ahead and get started here. First fight on FS1, we got Yuri Alcantara versus Brian Keller. Let's go ahead and open up the page real quick. Sorry, now I got that shit loading up. Okay, so let's start with Yuri, since this guy's the veteran, been around for a while. Alright, so this guy's 36 years old, pretty good record there, ground fighting and experience. So you can see he's on a 2-fight win streak, both wins by submission, so he has 2 finishes there against Brad Pickett and against Luke Sanders, in a fight where he was actually getting smashed on and was able to get the knee bar to get the submission win. But yeah, he was getting bombed on in that fight. He almost got finished like twice, I think. So yeah, I don't want to say it was like a fluke win, but you know, I think Sanders was on his way to winning that, but just ended up getting caught there. Let's go ahead and check out Brian's page. So this guy's a newcomer here to the UFC, making his debut. 6 years younger. Summary is well-rounded, killer instinct, and unpredictable. Let's see what we got here. 7 first-round finishes, 6-5 win streak, 6 wins by knockout, 7 by submission, 4 guillotine, and 3 naked choke. So obviously this guy likes the guillotine as his go-to submission. What else we got here? Yeah, not much else. Alright, so I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys know how Yuri Alcantara usually fights. You know, usually he doesn't really take his opponents to the ground. I mean, as you can see here, but he does have a takedown in his last fight. Against Brad Pickett he doesn't, and against Rivera he doesn't have a takedown either. And against Leandro also doesn't have a takedown, but I mean he does have some takedowns, but I mean usually doesn't really go for the wrestling too much. You know, he's more about kind of like the striking. But if he can get a takedown on you, obviously he's going to get it to work his jiu-jitsu. But really he likes to be, you know, just kind of like in the outside with his multi-striking game. Doesn't throw a lot of output, but I mean he seems to have some good power still. I know he hurt Brad Pickett. Obviously Brad Pickett already took a lot of damage though. His last loss to Jeremy Rivera, you know, I think I remember that fight. I'm pretty sure Rivera just kind of beat him up. I mean, Rivera was also able to land some takedowns on him. But yeah, I mean, Alcantara's a pretty good fighter. You know, good striking, and obviously now showing his jiu-jitsu game again with these 2 wins in a row by submission. So obviously this guy's still a beast, but you know, I don't know. I kind of want to pick Brian Keller, guys. First of all, this guy has a wrestling background, so obviously, you know, the takedowns seem to be Alcantara's weakness. I mean, Sanders was able to take him down. Rivera took him down a couple times. Isa took him down. Frankie Sains. I want to say this guy's kind of like Frankie Sains, like, you know, kind of like just those tough, gritty wrestler type of guys. And this guy also has some power, so you know, I feel like Keller here could pose some problems. I mean, Luke Sanders, I think, is more of a striker, I want to say, guys. And I mean, he was smashing this guy on the feet. He was beating him up, and on the ground he was also, you know, doing some ground and pound and whatnot. So I could see Keller taking the fight down to the ground and just kind of beating him up on the ground with some heavy ground and pound. So, you know, I think Alcantara obviously looks like he's still got some good fights left, but I'm gonna go ahead and take a pick here on the underdog, on the newcomer, Brian Keller. I'm gonna play him on DraftKings because Alcantara is actually 2nd most expensive on there, and I mean he could get a submission finish. I think Keller always gets caught with arm bars, and all his losses are by submission, I think, or something like that. So yeah, I mean Keller could get caught by submission, but I think Keller here will take it to the ground. And on the feet, I mean, he's not the most technical type of striker, but he does have some power. So, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and just pick Keller on this one. So I'll pick Keller to win by decision. Next fight, we got Johnny Eduardo versus Matthew Lopez. Kind of a similar fight in a way, but at the same time, not really. Eduardo, really good multi, good striker. Coming off a second round knockout against Manvel Gamburian, and he's fighting against Matthew Lopez, who is the favorite. Lopez is minus 170. Lopez has obviously some really good wrestling. He's pretty much just a wrestler. He can strike also, but to me, he doesn't look too comfortable striking here in the UFC. As you can see, his output is pretty bad. 1.5 strikes landed per minute. You know, it seems like this guy really just wants to take you down and just kind of grind on you and whatnot. Now, Eduardo, I think his takedown defense isn't as horrible as like Alcantara's. But also Alcantara's more of a better like submission guy compared to Eduardo. Eduardo's more of a, you know, a really sharp striker on the feet. You know, good multi and good power, good counters. His takedown defense, I mean, it looks pretty good here on paper. Let me just go ahead and take a look at his last fights real quick here, guys. I'm pretty sure Gamburian wasn't able to take him down. Yeah. Aljamain Sterling took him down, but I mean, obviously that's Sterling. Assuncao took him down. That was a while back, though. Yeah, as you can see, I mean, this guy doesn't fight too often. That's a thing, you know. It seems like this guy really has people like kind of fight his game, you know, kind of just keep it on the feet. And when people do go for takedowns, he's able to stuff them, kind of like a Jose Aldo. Obviously not as good with his takedown defense, but if Lopez can't take him down, man, I think Lopez is gonna get lit up on the feet. And Eduardo being, you know, the value play here, you know, I like that. So I'm gonna pick Eduardo on this one, guys. I think he's the better striker for sure. Throws a lot more output. If he keeps it on the feet, you know, I could see him getting another knockout here. So I'm picking Eduardo. Could see a knockout here, so I'm picking Eduardo to win by a third round knockout. Next fight, we got two grapplers, Antonio Carlos Jr. versus Erick Spicely. Both of these guys really good with their submissions. Spicely's all about the submission. This guy's been finishing people in the UFC. Carlos Jr. here, man, this guy's a big fucking middleweight. This guy, I think, even used to fight at a heavyweight, I want to say, or something like that. Anyways, I think, you know, to give you guys a quick pick here, I think Carlos Jr. should be the better guy all around here. He has the reach for the stand-up, and I want to say, you know, he's way more, you know, he's way better on the ground. Like, he's a better grappler, better grappling credentials. Spicely could catch him, obviously, with some sort of submission, but I think all around Junior here should be better. With him having the reach advantage, I think he'll be able to use that jab, you know, and then find his way to get the takedown. And then, you know, obviously if he gets the takedown on Spicely, he's gonna be able to work his submission game. So I just think that's a bad matchup for Spicely, fighting someone who's, you know, a really good grappler themselves, like Carlos Jr., and being a big middleweight also. You know, so I see a lot of shit here being stacked against Spicely. So I'm picking Carlos Jr. to win the fight. I could see him win by, you know, like a third round submission, like a late finish. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that, you know, third round submission for Carlos Jr. All right, now for the featured fight on the FS1 Prelims, we got Rafael Assuncao versus Marlon Moraes. Another quick pick here, guys. I'm gonna take the newcomer to the UFC, Marlon Moraes. If you guys don't know who this guy is, this guy was the WSOF bantamweight champion. Really good multi, really good striking. Also has a BJJ black belt. This guy can do it all. You know, he's well-rounded, just like Assuncao. The thing is, I think Assuncao, you know, kind of like hit his peak. You know, and I know he won his last fight against Sterling. But yeah, I'm just not too impressed with Assuncao here, and I think we need some new blood here at 135. And I think Marlon here could be that guy. This guy has really good kicks, also some good punches, obviously, good power. Haven't seen too much of his like takedown game, but I know he has good ground game. But overall, I just think Marlon here is going to be the better striker. I think Assuncao is a lot. You know, I'm not even going to say he's a lot better on the ground, but I think he will more than likely have a slight advantage on the ground. But on the feet, I think Marlon here takes it, guys. So I like Marlon Moraes here to get the win, guys. And yeah, I could see Marlon maybe getting a late finish, but you know what? I mean, he's a finisher, man. He's a finisher. That's another thing I like about Marlon here. So, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna say Marlon gets a second round knockout. Fuck it. All right, guys. That's gonna be it for my picks. To recap here, real quick, I'm picking Brian Keller by decision. Pretty risky pick here. I suggest maybe playing him on DraftKings. And I'm picking Eduardo to get the third round knockout. Carlos Jr. Third round submission, and Marlon Moraes second round knockout. Alright guys, that's going to be it for my picks on the FS1 prelims. Stay tuned for my next video where I'll talk about the main card. We got, you know, I don't think the card's that bad. You know, I could see a finish happening probably like in 3 of these fights. I think the Silva versus Yancy fight, I think is going to be a fun fight. And man, you know what? I'm not even gonna talk about this shit right now. I'll talk about this on the next video, guys. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it. Thanks for watching.